Hello guys, TKG's here for your comfortable Lost Ark life. In this video, I'd like to cover the recent status and improvements that was live on the Lost Ark KL, as the KL region update progression are quite slightly ahead than the global, so I thought it'd be great to share some of those infos for your Lost Ark journey. Now follow me, I'll show what I need. Well, actually, I made this video about why this season is a little hard to adapt and share some of the infos about the issues that frequently mentioned and argued in the KL community right now. Among those reasons, I selected some of those most likely reasons, and of course with my personal feelings and unfair experience. First is about the structure of the character progression system. I think the overall system of the Lost Ark character progression system is not that bad if you already played for a long time. But for the new players, this system can be a little bit unfair. Still, the 1610 to 1620 progression section requires huge amount of gold. I mean, without the pass, you need this amount of gold to raise your character to 1620 and transfer it to 1640. So naturally, you will try to find some new gold supply route for your main. Pass will bring your character to about 1610, but the real problem starts from here. As I said, from 1610 to 1620 requires huge amount of gold. So naturally, you will try to raise more alts or try to go to the high tiered raid like the Behemoth Echidna, mostly 1620 or 1640 contents, for the high and stable gold supply. But the problem is that you cannot go to the 1640 raid right away, because you need to use the additional gold for raising your characters. Right, you didn't finish the Transcendence and the Elixir. At that point, you will try to go to the 1610 or 1620 contents, but still those things can be hard. I mean, you can, but you will have to spend lots of time just waiting the support. The reason is simple. Even the 1640 guys needs lots of gold for raising their characters, because transferring the gear to tier 4 will increase the gear progression probabilities, but not decrease the gold or tier 4 materials requirements. And also, tier 4 has no separate section which divides section by the materials like in the tier 3. So all tier 4 section characters will require and share the same materials. So naturally, the tier 4 materials are more expensive than the tier 3. And of course, reaching 1660 or 1680 still requires huge amount of gold like in the 1610 to 1620 progression. So naturally, these guys also need gold. So some of the guys with the tier 4 1640 empty characters will try to go to the raid at 1610 or 1620. Which parties are mostly preferred by the support at the right level, because the overpowered party are mostly finish the raid quickly, so they can wrap that weekly fast and move on to the next character or raid. And because of that reason, 1610 or 1620 character is quite hard to go to the raid at the right level, like in the Hard Their Mine or normal Echidna or even in the normal Famine. If you just can't go raid with stabilities, it can be great to supply the gold and materials you need, but the game won't let you do that easily. To go to the raid from the 1610 to 1620 with the 1610 or 1620 character won't guarantee the fast clear and the fast start. And come to think of it, as the tier 4 update extended the level cap from 16 to 70, the guys at the front want the experience in the raw raid. So that will double the competitions. So naturally, you will turn your interest to solo contents, which the contents, I think it is great, but with the less gold. So naturally, you need more time to progress your character. So because of this mixed reason, even I, who played the Lost Ark very long time, still reluctant to raising the new character to 1640 or even higher. So personally, this section structure needs more improvements. So, did you manage to reach the 1640? Well, good for you. But the real problem is now starting from here. You think the 1640 will make the character progression better, right? I mean, it's an early stage of the tier 4. I mean, it is almost a starting point of the tier 4 progressions. But I'm a little sorry to say about that one. Still, 1640 to higher gear progression aren't that cheap. If you pass through the gear progression experience with the Pass or Ignite server, that pressure will be more bigger. Not only the materials will be more expensive, but also the gold consumption won't decrease that much as you expect. Instead, you need more, even in the advanced zoning. Still, it will cost more gold than you expect. Also, the biggest problem of the Lost Ark is I think the structure of the raid right now. You think you could just go to the 1640 contents, I mean Hard Echidna, Behemoths, or even the Hard Thermite when you reach the 1640, right? But still no. Because from the high-tiered raid, you need the additional character progression system, Elixir, Transcendence, or to summon, cards. You might be thinking, what's the big deal with that? Well, I can guarantee that. It's a big deal. The reason is that 3 contents are total random. You need luck. Yes, you need to keep pushed through that 10% or 20% chances and probabilities until you reach the end. As these contents was deliberately designed to slow down the content's consumption speed of the players, even using tons of gold won't guarantee successful progression. More like you have to win the game by yourself. Personally, I think the Transcendence is less difficult than the Elixir or card, but that both contents, well, I'll say good luck for that. Well, Elixir need to know the gimmicks and tactics to complete the 40, and the card, well, I think the card is really need long time to making the Light of Salvation 30 plus, like the old players like me. So what do? You have to constantly pour your gold or money to complete that random factors. Well, in more Korean expression, unlike the other games, probability and the chances are mostly at 10% or 5% or less. Yep, once you get that by pass through that probability, you can just get it. But in Lost Ark, might looks better, but you have to pass through that valley of probability constantly. 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%, and then you reach the end. And without it, well, you cannot go to the raid without it. 40 plus or full Transcendence or 75 plus and Light of Salvation or Lost Wind Cliff 30 plus is a basic requirements at the 1640 or higher tier 4 contents. Because without it, your party will be lax of DPS. Or you might complete the raid, but that will need huge amount of time, and gotta be honest, everyone's supposed to be perfect without it. So personally, I think that random additional progression factors are the biggest reason why the people say it is still unfair. Something really needs to be done in this section. I mean, it needs some more huge improvements. I know they did lower the gold consumption or give you an effective option as a selection menu, but that things won't improve the situation that much. Even though I played a long time the Lost Ark, sometimes I really want to raise one more alt, but because of those contents, it makes me think once more. And also, because of those contents, getting a raid party is quite a hard task for the new players. As the contents level gets higher, the more intricate character build is required on the latest raid contents. In more KR expression, you have so many bastions to jump over. During the inspection for the applied players, you have to check cards, gems, and then you check the elixir, and then you check the transcendence. Oh wait, no card, you're out. So mostly the both players are get stressed, and I think the system that burdens the players needs to be avoided on the future update. And talking about the burden, in KL right now, we really have a great inflation on the tier 4 contents right now, like in the gems and even in the relic engraving book. As the new raid Belshazzar is a little hard and picky to handle with the normal spec, so normally and naturally, the players turns their eyes to break through the ceiling of the character performance. So the price went up crazy and still stays in the crazy price. I know I can understand the expensive price because it is an end contents, but look at that. Personally, I think the price is a little excessive than imagined. I know the Lost Ark team did lots of updates and the speed was really fast, and I really want to praise thanks for their hard work on the recent or on this year update. And the measure they did from the user community opinion was really great. I mean, the support pass was really great and useful. But still, I think that it would be even better if that little part of the additional contents were fixed in the future. as I really played this game very long time. I really want the Lost Ark to get loved, long in the KL and on the global. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching everyone, and always thanks for your big support. Hope this video was a little help for your Lost Ark journey. Hope you do well with your Lost Ark with this video. And of course, if you like my videos, hit the sub for more upcoming infos. I'll come back with more useful infos in the next video.